today's topic. Too much time. This topic. Are we spending too much time in school? Chatting, relaxed, all this. Okay, it's recording right now, but I haven't started streaming yet. So I've just set the topic for the day, and I'm just gonna be thinking. Okay, so are we spending too much time in school? I'm about to go live, so for my YouTube audience, you get like the little short part before I go live. I normally delete Twitch from my phone because I don't really use social media like that. It's very distracting. But let me download it now before I start streaming. TIDCH. Okay, there you go. I'm downloading Twitch. Then I'll start. Are we spending too much time in school? Alright, I'm gonna go live. And there we go. Yo, we're live. Testing. I don't even know how I test it. I'm just hoping for the best, hoping that everything just works. Am I forgetting anything? All my equipment's here. I have water today, so that's fantastic. Okay, I did what I said I was gonna do yesterday, right? And I put the title. So today's topic is: are we spending too much time in school? And when I say we, I mean us as human beings, as a civilization. That's what I mean when I say we. Are we spending too much time in school? So collectively, everybody in the world, right? Are we spending too much time in school? Are we not spending enough time in school? So we're gonna explore this today. I also had an idea that when I do these things, that to just carry along to see exactly where we're at in this sort of process, we should document everything, right, in folders. So let's say it's a topic on education, and then it's a topic in school. We should always have it like in these like folders, right? So let me see. I could make a folder list for this channel to see exactly what we have covered so far, because we're just gonna be thinking about a lot of different types of topics. Today's like the first one where we're like, okay, we have a title, we have, I guess, a plan of what we're gonna speak about, and then we're just gonna flow, you know. So that's gonna be today's stream. All right, no experimentation, just a regular. All right, now who's in here? Who's in here? Okay. Everything was fine. Okay. Oh, this one's gonna probably be a sit-down one because I need my chair. And we're gonna react to one thing. Well, we don't have to react to anything. We're just gonna think, and then if we feel like we have to, we will. So I'm gonna go quickly grab a chair and bring it here, and then I'll get started. Okay? I can't believe I just started a stream and I don't have my chair. I'll be back. Okay. Right. So, are we spending too much time in school? All right, let's explore this. What's the first question that comes to mind, right, when this topic just sort of pops up? Are we spending too much time in school? Well, who? I think I already answered this at the start, but like, let me go here, right? Who? So, right. Are we spending too much time in school? Right? And we, meaning humanity. Okay. Well, this question, right? It's a question. It implies that there is some goal, right? So, if we're spending not enough time in school, then it's because of a reason, right? If we're spending too much time in school, then it's because of a reason. So, like, what's the goal? What's the outcome? What should be the outcome of school? What should it be? And I'm thinking here. My guess is, right? Skills. You know, what's the first thing? The first thing is knowledge, right? O-W-A-D-G-E. Right, knowledge. Second thing is skills. This is from like what I remember, right? Because I've done my own like sort of, I guess, reading, and like this is what I remember. Okay, you get knowledge and skills from school, all right? So when, all right, if school implies some sort of goal at the end, right? So, and we're saying it's knowledge, skill, and then is it talent? Okay, let's say talent development. Develop, P-E-M-E-N-T. Now let me score all of these, right? Let's say it's like these are the three main things you get out of school. You get to like develop your talent or sort of your craft or find out what you're good at. You get to improve your skills, right? And you get knowledge, okay? Out of this tree, what is the most? And from what I know, it's knowledge, right? That's the most thing, because we just get random information in school. A lot of, info on like different subjects depending on what part we're talking about, whether it's primary, secondary, or university, right? So knowledge. L-E-D-G-E. Right, this is the main one. So if I'm gonna give them like a weighing, right, let's say out of 100, I'll say knowledge would take like, and this is just me like just splitting it in my head. Knowledge would probably be like, because when you go to school, what do? Do they look at your skill and try to like motivate you to build more or do more? Like, are they pointing you out and giving you everything you need in order to build your skills? Are they doing whatever it takes for you to develop your talent? No. The most thing is like they're seeking to teach something and they're hoping that you just grab it, right? And then they do some stuff to make sure that it really sinks in. Okay, so knowledge would take like, I'd say 70% out of 100, right? Now that means 30% needs to be split between skill and talent. Is this right? Is this right? Okay, let me just reduce it a little bit. 7% might be a little bit much. Let me say 65% goes to knowledge. And 100 minus 65 is 35. No, it's 25. Is it? Yeah, 35. Right? Okay, 100 minus 65, 35. So 35% will be split between skill and talent development. But what's the difference between skill and talent development, though? What's the difference? Right? Let's go to a new page. Okay, so knowledge. I'll just represent knowledge as K. So we have K, right? Skills I'll say it's S, and talent development, so TD, right? And K, right, knowledge would be 65, and now 35 needs to be split between these two. All right, are you following? Right? Are you following? Have I lost anyone? Because if I was doing this with no whiteboard, everybody's gonna go. Everybody will be lost. So let's really dissect this. Okay, so do we spend a lot of time in school? Well, that alludes to some sort of question, right? That, okay, what is school for? You know, if we're spending a lot of time in school, that means we're trying to get something out of school. Like, what is that thing? What I think, right? School is to like prepare you for the real world. That's what I'm thinking. That's what school's main sort of, I guess, role is to give you enough information to prepare you for the real world, right? So the real world, the collective consciousness has used knowledge throughout time to learn or discover particular things, right? And then when these things are discovered, I guess we innovate, and then we keep going and life gets better. And then school is meant to sort of summarize this whole collective consciousness and try to deliver it to young people, right? In each stages of their maturity. Okay? Is this a lot farther than what we were doing yesterday and the day before? Because this is the main thing of this channel. This is what we're doing, just dissecting topics, and then we're gonna try do it where like whoever comes on, try make it more entertaining, try make some whatever the case may be, to make it just like more appealing, right? But this is the main thing. Okay, now that we have that clear, right? That school is supposed to sort of prepare you for the world, right? And then it's split up into how it does this by giving you knowledge, right? Sort of trying to give yourself skills and trying to develop your talent in some way, right? So now we're splitting up how much of the time spent in school is actually applied to each of these categories. Okay? All right, we're following. I'm just gonna act like we're following. Okay, cool. So go back here now. 65% is given to knowledge, right? Spend the most amount of time just learning a bunch of stuff. Okay, spend a lot of time. That it actually might be more, but we'll say 65% to be safe. Okay, and then 35% for skills and talent development. I think school does an atrocious job with talent development. So I'll say it probably spends like 5% maybe on after school activities or stuff like that. But it's not really. I won't say specified, but it's not really like. It's not the thing that they focus on, And I think that this is like an area that should be highly focused on. But it's like this is just an objective take on it, right? So if this is 5%, then skills go to 30. And this is very generous. I'm being very generous with the education system. Now, the whole topic is, are we spending too much time in this place, this thing, this institution, right? I'm gonna draw it. So, and I'm gonna give like columns as well. Let me put a door. Okay. Are we spending too much time in this place? Right? And then a massive door, and then get a lot of students that just get born and just get lodged into this system, right? Everyone's like, whoa, how you doing? And they're just like thrown into this system, okay? Now, we know the split. I'm gonna always have the split like up on the top corner. Can I do that from here, from Streamlabs? Let me see if I can. Sources, add. I'll say text box. Where is it? 3, 2, 1, where's the text box? Is there no text box? Okay, there is a text box. Alright. Add source. What the flip? Okay, done. And everything's frozen. Okay, that's fine. Are we still rolling? Firstly, before we continue, because I want to make sure everything's rolling fine. Check, 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 check. When you're streaming, you have to make sure your stream is going well. Okay, cool. We're still rolling. All right, because everything just froze here, and it's still frozen. Okay, we'll keep it pushing, right? We'll keep it pushing. Okay. I'm gonna delete all this now. I'm gonna have okay. So knowledge gets the 65, skills gets the 30, and then talent development gets like 5. This is based on intuition now. Listen, right? I want to point you at like the fancy YouTubers that has all the info, all the this and this and this, but this is based on intuition, right? Just my own knowledge, okay? So we're piecing out our knowledge, right? And we're just making it, we're spreading it out to I guess explore them further. If I get anything wrong, you let me know and we both get smarter, right? And then maybe we can have the skills to be extremely wealthy, okay? All right. Where was I going with this? Okay, so we have all these kids that are lodged into the system. Now, how old are you when you're thrown in here? So, I don't care from as little as kindergarten. Oh, actually, the split might be different. Should we split up the time, like the type of education you get in kindergarten, type you get in primary school, type you get in secondary school, and type you get in university? Let's do that. I'll do this for 30 minutes. We'll watch a YouTube video, right? Or not. Or if we're having too much fun, we'll just keep going, right? And then we'll see how close we were. You get me? So that's what's gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen. All right, let's play all the times. Okay. So, right. So let's say this is a young child, right? Right? Has his shoes, okay? Oh my days. All right, let me not do it. Okay, cool. This is a young child and he's just born. Let's say this is year 1, right? And let's say this is him when he leaves school, right? Maybe a little bit more hair. Okay. Right? Maybe a shirt. And then longer pants, right? Longer trousers, I should say. And then bigger feet, okay? And then maybe, yeah, longer arms. Okay, this is year 1. Let's say this is year... Let's go all the way to like university. All right, let's say this is year... Okay, someone starts school at, I'll say 4 or 3. Go to kindergarten, then they go to secondary school. When they finish secondary school, it's like 18, and then 4 more years. So that 18 plus 4, that's 22. All right, let's say 22. Okay, year 1 to year 22. Right, now let's split up the times. So, this to 2, he's still at home. All right, let's say to 3, still at home. Right, from 3, I don't know. This is just me thinking. Right, this is not like factual. This is not concrete at all. But let's just go. This is 2 years old. The 3 years old, right? 3 to what is primary school? When you enter primary school, let's say you enter. Okay, if you leave secondary school to go to college at 18, let's just put the 18 bar here, right? Let's say 18 years old. So, and I'll say like, give or take 6 years in secondary school. So 18 minus 6, that's 12. So you enter secondary school at 12, right? We're going backwards here. We're going backwards, forward, and whatever the case may be. And then this is 22. 18, 22 is like college, right? This is college. This is secondary. CONDARYSCHOOL, right? Now, how long is primary school? I don't know this. Say like 6 again. But would you be 6 years old in kindergarten? You won't be 6 years old in kindergarten. So 3, 4, 5. I'll say 5, right? Let's just say. Okay, let's change it. Let's say this is I don't want to change this. Okay, we'll say 5. Right? As soon as you're 5, you enter. No, why is this the biggest chunk? No. just split in half. Okay, this is 5. This is a terrible timeline. This is like an atrocious timeline, but just work with me here. Okay, from here to here is primary. IMARY. From here to here, I'll just say KG, kindergarten. Right? I hate the fact that it goes blurry. That's so annoying. I need to get a new whiteboard, but I haven't had time outside of streaming. I'm even very tired today, but I had to make sure I hop on still. Okay, look. Right, let's keep going. Here is like no school. This is like preschool. Well, there's no pre. This is like at home, right? You're getting breastfed and everything else. Here, right? This is then secondary school. This is when a lot of maturing happens, and then this is college. Okay. Right. This is the timeline. Actually, I want to take a screenshot of this. Let's see here. Let me take a screenshot of this. Right. Okay. This is the timeline. Okay. I'll just have. Is it basic education timeline or sample education timeline? I'll say generic education. I also want to get like a pen and a pad so that this my handwriting is a lot better than this. I'm using my mouse and it's very annoying. So I'm gonna get a pen and a pad, and this is just gonna look nicer, okay? Because I want to really work with the whiteboard a lot. When I started streaming, right, I just thought I'm just gonna come on and think, and well, we tried that the first day and it was terrible. Like I was messing up things here and there. I wasn't articulating what I was trying to say properly because I couldn't visualize it. Okay, so to think better, you have to visualize it, or I guess to present your ideas that you're thinking better, you have to visualize it. So this is a good tool. I just need a better tool. All right, slight tangent. Okay, so this is the generic education cycle, right? It's not a cycle. It's a timeline. Education. I'll say TL timeline, right? This is it. So from 1 year old to 22, right? That's your whole time. So no. From three. What am I doing? Okay, back. From 3, right, to 22. Now how long is this? This is 19 years. 19 years. Okay. Now let's factor in the whole world. Okay. Let's factor in the whole world. Okay, so the generic education timeline for someone who goes from kindergarten to graduates of a college degree, a regular college degree, is 19 years, okay? All right, delete. So, timeline. I'll say school timeline. Because education and school are two different things. All right, so school timeline. Right. What is the school timeline? Okay, school timeline is 3 to 22, which is 19 years. 19 years in school. Now that is a long time. If the average lifespan, well, what do I think the average lifespan is? If the average lifespan is like around 80 years old, right? That means you spend a quarter of that in education. That's a quarter, right? A quarter of your life is spent in this system, in this education system. Now we're going to answer the question, right? Based on what school is supposed to do for you, which is give you knowledge, skills, and develop your talent in order to prepare you for the real world. Okay, now I'm gonna go just in my opinion here. I would say school doesn't really do much. It doesn't do that much in terms of preparing you for the real world. It doesn't do that much. What it does is give you a lot of information that is based on sort of the collective consciousness of the world. If you minus college, then it does this at a basic level, right? If you subtract college, so if you subtract the minus 4 years, so without college, right, this would be, how many years? That's 15? Yeah, that's 15 years. And this just gives you basic info on the collective consciousness. IOUS. I don't know how to spell consciousness. Just let's okay, yeah. Okay. On the collective consciousness of the world, collective C of the world. Right? Right. It gives you basic info on the collective consciousness of the world. That's what I think, okay? Now, I'm saying as you going into school and learning, right? This is just learning what someone who is putting in like a basic level of effort, right? Sort of the average, like what is the average out of it, right? You get a basic info on the collective consciousness of the world. So you have like subject, they'll give you an option to pick subjects you like. They'll give you subjects that are mandatory, right? So by that premise alone, that means it's not focused on talent development. We're not trying to develop talent. No. School is not trying to develop talent. What is that? That is pointless. We don't want to develop talent. Maybe you can get some skills, whatever the case may be, right? But we don't talent develop. That's not the thing, right? That's not what school does. Now, to be prepared for the world, you need a lot of serious talent, right? And a lot of that talent, you don't get it in school. What you get is basic info of the collective consciousness of the world. That is not necessarily a bad thing. Because when you're then developing your own talent, that information is actually your bread and butter. It comes in very, very, very handy, right? But when you're so smart and you're spending 15 years getting basic info, right? You think to yourself, oh, hang on. I've been doing this for so long. I should be Einstein level. I should be able to just manipulate it, like just be able to construct or create anything I want, right? That's what you feel. You're empowered because of the knowledge you have, right? Not realizing that the algebra, right, and the maths and physics that you did in this part, right, this extent, the highest level you got to in this part based on the basic knowledge that you get from school, right, is literally very, 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 very simple. Right. Because you spend so much time, and remember, don't forget, the topic is, do we spend a lot of time in school, right? So we're going to see what school is for. I'm going to put this here again. So it's for knowledge, right? Well, it's to prepare you for the real world, okay? So to do this, right, they give you knowledge, skills, and develop your talent. Now, this is just from my mind. I don't care to look at Google, search up stuff. You guys can do that if you want. You can do that, come back to me, we can discuss, and then I can be like, oh yeah, I'm so dumb, and I can change it, right? What I'm thinking is mutable. You know what I mean? So, I'm gonna keep going. All right. So you get basic info, okay? But you're thinking you're extraordinarily smart. Because maybe, let's say, for instance, in the Irish system, it's like the Leaving Cert. This is after you do your basic info. Then they give you this test called the Leaving Cert. This exam you have to pass and to get into college. Is out of 600 points, right? The average is like 400, okay? You get 411, you think you are literally Einstein level because you were doing these things in math class that was just like, bro, we're just crunching numbers. I had my calculator every single day, and I was crunching numbers to get this score. 411, right? 411 over 600. You know? That's above average. It's an 11 above average, but it's above average. So you're basically smart. This can get you into many different colleges, right? Not the exceptionally like difficult or prestigious colleges you can get into, but it can get you into some at least. Okay? So, let's move on. I think I'll start adding music to the background of my streams. Just to set the mood or the tone. I wonder what genre I'll pick though. Okay, let's move on. Right? You do all that, you think you're smart, not realizing you have basic info. Right? Then most people are then lodged into university. You know? Most people are lodged into uni. Some people just end it there, right? End it there. Maybe they go into like a trade or whatever the case may be, but they end it there. Okay, but it's not a 50-50 split. I would say people that go from that go to school, secondary school, they most of the time tend to go to university because it's just like implied is that no, you have to go to uni. So I'll just give a random estimate and say 70% of people that go to secondary school go to uni. This is probably so way off, but this is how I think. Okay, when I'm looking at how the world thinks and what is right, this is just what I'm thinking. Okay, so bear with me. How many percent go to uni? Now, this is where it gets techie. It's where it gets tough. 100 water in. Okay. When you go to this uni, right? The main thing of this school right before was to prepare you for the real world. Right? And uni is like, no, this is like where you go to get that like certificate that says, yo, you're extremely smart and you're ready to take on the challenges of the workforce. You know what I mean? You're ready to think about challenges like no other person. You're ready to become the Einstein that you were meant to be. You're gifted. You got 411 out of 600 in your like you are a gifted child. Okay? This is what you're feeling coming into uni. You understand, right? But the problem is before you go into university, you know exactly what you're gonna study. From the day you step in to the day you leave. You know exact all of it. Like your curriculum is already laid out. Every single thing you're gonna study. Now, the graph is kind of like this, okay? You're in uni. This like is the problem of the world. They set a curriculum, right? That goes a span of 4 years. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay? And this is what you study. You are studying to meet this problem. Right? But the thing about university is that it stops here. It stops there. Right? Even if the problem like escalates in the real world, right? the information is like foundational. Okay? Now, remember, you're very smart. You got 411, you're going to a fantastic university. Okay? You're going there in order to take on the challenges of the workforce because you're going to be Einstein level genius. Do you understand me? That's what you're going to be doing. But what is prepared for you to do is constructed, right, to give you the capacity to take on the challenges of the workforce in the now. They evaluated the problems, they set the curriculum, maybe tweaked some things here or there because of the last cohort of students, and then the new cohort is coming in, right? 70% of all those people, right? We'll say people that go to school generally because it's like school is just widely available to everyone. We'll just say like 90% of people go to school, or we'll say 80%, whatever. Now, out of that 80%, 70% goes to university. So that's a lot of people. that's a lot of people that goes to university. Now, this is a lot of Einstein level geniuses, okay? Hold on. We're gonna all of this is just gonna answer the one question, right? I want to show you my thinking process. All right. So I should actually be changing the thing. Okay, let me do this. I'll go back. I'll say this is the problem. So we'll mark the problems with red, right? And this is how the problems in the real world is going, right? But this is the education, right? What you're learning. This is how it's going because we already know this. We know this from here, from the very first day we go into college. We know our curriculum, right? But the problems in the world is going. So this is the discrepancy. This is how far away the real world issues is going to be when you get out of university. Now, to tackle this, what happens? You get what you call work experience. So like your third year, let's say this is 1, 2, 3, you get it here, like your third year. Okay. This is like the one that is like, okay, this is your work experience. This is what you do to show that yes, you're ready for the workforce. Right? You could have gone work experience here in the summer. You could have gone it even before you started. You could have gone it here. But it's not told, it's not part of the curriculum. Nobody knows. It's just like it's like a change that happened in the world, but the school hasn't caught on yet. They haven't thought about that change yet in detail. So it's not part of the curriculum. You know what I mean? You know? They say, okay, just get 4 months work experience. You'll still live your summers with the flip, is fine. Right? And it's just here. Okay? Following? Alright, cool. That draws your sort of the closeness of problems closer, right? It draws this kind of close. It kind of bumps it up. So it bumps it when you get work experience. It bumps it up, but then it flatlines again. So the problems of the world are still growing exponentially. You go get work experience. You're like, oh wow, yo, this is the level. You go here, and then boom, it flatlines again. Now you're prepared for this work. Okay? You're prepared for this work. But you're not prepared for what the flip is going to happen between here and here. This, you don't know what the flip is going on. All right? So when you come out, there is, let's say, if you didn't go, and this is the gap, right? And college gets you here. And this is the gap between your preparedness, right? The real world issues and your preparedness. Okay? And boom. So, this is basically the knowledge, skills, and talent development you've gotten throughout your time in college. Now, mind you, this isn't taken in the like expenses, like the time, lack of income, all this stuff, right? You're giving all that up. You know, if I can quantify it and say, okay, is it worth it or not? This problems, because then you have like bills, those type of problems. You're not prepared for that. So this can go down if I do that, but like I'll leave it here for now. Okay? I'll leave it here. So if I'm looking at this based on just visualization, I'll say this would be this would be was it 60? I'll say 65, right? This would be 65. And this would be again 35. So you're, after you spent 19 years in the education system, getting so much knowledge just thrown at you without developing talent, right? Getting some skills, right? Don't forget, I'll put a different color. Don't forget green. Don't forget you're here, right? You did work experience here, and it bumped your skill up very, very much, right? It bumped your skill up very much, you know. Maybe there was a lot of competition, you couldn't find a good work experience, so you went to go do a random one that you don't care about, and it bumped your skill up. That wasn't the like wake up call, like, oh wow, this is actually, you know what I mean? But it bumped your skill up because you were in a function in the real world. Well, internship isn't really a function; they don't really care, right? But your skills are high, but you can say, look, I've worked, I've studied, and this is my skill. Right? So you have one skill. But it bumps you up a lot, that work experience, right? The knowledge bumps you up here, making sure you're ready for the problem, right? But the problem increases exponentially while you're in college. The problem increases. So then you're here. So what I can say is, after 19 years of school, if you go to college, you are 65% prepared for the real world. So, do we spend too much time in university based on how they teach? Now, this is just for me. I'm breaking down the education system, trying to answer this question through my own intuition and delivering it to you. And from this, I guess, thinking, I would say we spend way too much time in school. That time we could have spent having more focus on talent development, right? Nobody is the same. Nobody is the same, right? You get the very amazing students that realizes this stupidity of college and they really really hone their own skills themselves, right? College is actually it gives you the freedom to just hone your own skills, and that's the thing. It's actually, but the thing is, it's not implied. They don't care if you win or fail. They just give you the split, right? So the 65, 35, 5. They just give you that split. But they give you some time, like the summers and stuff. But the average, now this is going off average, the smart kids that got 411 out of 600, right? These are the most, these lot, right, are just going with the flow, right? They're going with the flow, doing, because to actually do sort of decently well in college, there's a lot of time given to it. So nobody really cares about spending this extra amount of time to like really develop your own. Like, what you mean? I spend so much time learning all this random stuff. I should have enough skills. Like, you know what I mean? But what they don't know is that this graph means all of this shit that they're learning doesn't matter, right? Maybe like I would say 20% of it is um is required, right? That's why it's here and not here. 20% of it is required, but the rest is just jargon, you know. The rest is just like, you're interested in that stuff, right? But it doesn't really give you the skill. You actually meant to hone that yourself. But the average person is not doing that. So I would say we spend a lot of flipping time in school. And if my sort of message is everybody has this amazing capacity to bring out so much value. But if we're thinking that school is just going to sort of, I guess, inject these skills through flipping mitosis, then it's completely wrong. But that is the sentiment that is around college students. Because like even if you get like four, okay, let me say this, let me delete all of this. In a job, right? In work, if they say you should do A, they expect you to get A done. There's no, oh, but I got 60% of A done. If you get 60% of A done, you're gonna get fired. You're gonna get the red X. If you get 80% of A done, you're also gonna get the red X. Maybe you get like one or two disciplinary hearings, but you're gonna get a red X. When they say get A done, they mean get A flipping done. So they want 100% of A, right? But now the sort of image in school is if they tell you to get A done, now this is if you didn't remember, this is the smart average student. This is not the Harvard cohorts. This is not the like the Oxford people. This is just like the average, decent colleges but not too great or whatever the case may be, right? So if you get flipping 60% of A done, they say, you're fine, you move on, right? You still get that like, ooh, I did something, and you move on. So if you have like a GPA of like 60%, you always move on. Okay? You always move on. There's no like, I have to get it completely right. But now, because everybody is so flipping smart, right? And the discrepancy between what you learn and work is so high, and everybody has that work experience and is leaving at this, and this is still going way high up, and students generally are not taking initiatives to like meet this demand, right? So you get a massive amount of people who are just unprepared for the workforce. So that the workforce recognizes this, right? These are the like corporate guys, right? That have been in the industry. They went through this system and they made it out. right? I'll give this guy a suit. You know what I mean? There we go. Right? They went through this system and they made it out. So because there's just so much people who are smart, the requirement to enter into this environment that is so different from school, because school, if they tell you to do A, you get 60% of A done, you get lodged in, right? And I really want to emphasize this. For school, if you get 60% of A done, you move on. You get 40% of A done in some colleges, you move on. But in work, you have to get 100% of A done 100% of the time. Otherwise, you're gone. So, in that case, they can just make as many exams as they need to for you to get into work. And now you're coming out of this long period where you think you became a genius, not looking left and right, not looking at what the requirement is, and understanding that if you get 60%, you're fine. It just doesn't work. It literally just doesn't work. So a lot of people are just scratching their heads. So yes, that's why we spend a lot of time in school. Now, you heard my point. You heard what I had to say. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to watch a short video. I'm going to see what they say. And I'm going to either agree or disagree. And you guys be the judge. All right? Let's go. All right. By the way, this is my YouTube channel. Just plug in. Okay. Now, remember, the title of this video is, do we spend a lot of time in school? Okay, so let me just search. Let's see what YouTube is saying about this. Do we spend a lot of time in school? I'll see what video is best. I don't like when shorts come up because what? Let me limit it. Filters. Video. And it's still shorts. Okay. How do I remove shorts? Okay, for this. There we go. Okay, again, danger of having too little to do. Yeah, that is a school problem as well. Don't go back to school. Okay. How to catch up on schoolwork. Generally, ultimate advice for students and college graduates: stop wasting time. Stop wasting time. Okay, but this is Jordan Peterson. It's a long video. So who's talking about this? How I manage my. So nobody's talking about do you spend, or maybe just the algorithm. Maybe that's just the case. All right, let's see if there's any articles. Okay, do we? All right. Do we spend a lot of time in school? Oh wow! Yeah, this is crazy. Number of days and hours spent in school. Time is the school. Time is the school's most precious resource. Where does it go? The time we spend in school desks. Where does school time go? Okay, let's see this. Where does school time go? Reject. I didn't guess. Oh, the flip. As new school gets underway, the last progress technology need a little attention. Okay, yeah, there's a little attention just gets done. Time in school, right? Little attention to just what gets done with the time in school here. Okay, this is just a great school rethink, right? Great school rethink. Okay, in 2021, in a far too unusual study of school in Providence, Rhode Island, researchers documented just how many disruptions there are in the course of a school day. The estimated typical Providence classroom interrupted over 2,000 times per day. What a flip! I didn't mean to click that. Option adding up to 10 to 20 days. Instructional time. Major disruptions including announcements, staff visit. So the sentiment I'm getting from this video is that we spend a lot of flipping time in school. But I broke it down better. I don't know why is there no like video that's just like talking about this. Yeah, there's no video talking about this. So if you want to get premium content, you know where to go, right? Premium content, you come to me for that. Okay, so nobody is talking about this. What this article says, who wrote this? Frederick Hess, right? Frederick Hess basically telling us that, yeah, there's so many interruptions in the school day, although like we're just getting shoved information in our face. We just spend a lot of time in school. We spend way too much time in school. That's my own opinion. I can do more research in the background, but I don't do that. If you want to do it, feel free. But yes. So for the topic for today, we do spend more time in school. And you can argue with me if you want, but then I'll use my own logic to try and fight my case. Okay? This is the conclusion. Oh. This is the conclusion. We spend a lot of time in school. And we become, if you go to, I guess, wait, I didn't even mark out how prepared for the world you get when you do secondary school. You have basic information, but like you need that basic information in order to actually know your left and your right. So that's like 4 years of like real world stuff you get in secondary school. Or if you can maximize, this is not the basic thing. If you go to college and you can maximize, it's actually the best possible thing you can do. Because if you know, because they don't teach you this stuff. If you just know yourself and understand it properly, which I would say because of how sort of dumbed down things are and how they just allow you to just keep passing. You know, even if you get 40%, oh, you can just, fly ahead. And they put these random subjects that you don't care about, that are compulsory that you have to do. If you can just sort of see that BS and you yourself have the like intrinsic motivation, which I do not think a lot of people have. A lot of people do not have intrinsic motivation. They are more credential oriented. They just want the sort of credential of the degree to sort of give them that entry pass into university, into the workforce. But that just doesn't happen because the workforce, the problems just get a lot more complicated, and they need people who are prepared. If you go to school just sort of coasting, right, you're not gonna be prepared, and then you have to like after school try to catch up and try to do these tests against other unprepared people or people who are just, because you're not competing with just the people who you're graduating with. You're competing with everybody. Everybody. If you're good for the job, you take it. And depending on how many like entry level roles, and even in this day and age, entry level roles are like, yo. So yeah, college students, if you don't have, now this is if you don't have that intrinsic motivation, right? You are 65% ready after 19 years. That is a problem. That is a problem. To be honest, I think I'm actually like up in this a lot. Like I think it's probably in the range of like 45, and this is just a random number I'm saying, but don't worry about it. 45 to 65. I think 65 is the upper band, of preparedness for the workforce, which is what schools are meant to prepare you to do. I don't think colleges really want people to see. They just want like they just want the exceptional people to like do extremely well, and then they'd be like, oh yeah, I had a fantastic time in university. Oh, it's fantastic. But no. No. Something came to my mind now. Let me search up. Okay. What amount of students? What students after graduating are prepared for the workforce in their field? Let's see this. Yeah. Oh my. Yo. Oh my, whoa. I said 45% to 65%. Up, like that's how prepared people are. And look what AI says. While many graduates find employment, a significant gap exists between perceived actual workforce readiness, with roughly half the graduates feeling unprepared for jobs. Despite educators' optimism highlighting major disconnects in practical skills like communication, financial literacy, and real-world experience like internships, leading to skill gap where a few feel they have all the needed skills for their role. Now, how did my own thinking come this close? It's because you just break it down. All right, let's go somewhere else. Because one place can be skewed, right? Let's go somewhere else. Graduate outcomes 2023. Oh, this is Ireland. Reject. Okay. This is too much. This is too much research for me. I can't do this. Okay, right. But I'm gonna take that win. Right. So, as you can see, this is how I think about topics. Okay. And by the end of my my full year's worth of streaming, I want to make this sort of experience the best experience you can get. Because we just typed into Google, into our YouTube, do we spend a lot of time in school? And there is no consolidated video that shows you that. Or maybe it's a YouTube algorithm. Maybe there's some fantastic small content creators that have come up with that and the YouTube algorithm just doesn't highlight them. But I think there's a lot of topics that should be presented in sort of video format that we should discuss, you know? So, I'm trying to fill that gap, right? But obviously I'm on Twitch, and Twitch expects you to be entertaining to some capacity, expects you to sort of go with the program, and I'm also trying to be successful. So I'll make some, changes to allow what I'm doing to be noticed by more people, and then I'll just see where it takes me. Because remember, we are trying to, get a large amount of people to see what this is and to sort of enable them to bring as much value as they can by themselves. I started Twitch simply just by opening my laptop, thinking, oh, this could probably work, opening and starting. And I'm also starting things on the outside as well. So that's what I'm doing, okay? You get me? And I want you guys to be doing that as well. So we'll see where the year takes us. But for the first actual dissection of a topic, like the first proper one where the topic was stated at the start and then we broke it down bit by bit, I think this was okay. Now, maybe I was close and ChatGPT sort of, I guess, validated my conclusion. But I could be way off. And that's also fine. That's fine, right? It's to fix the process of thinking as you move on. Okay? And yeah, that's just what's gonna be moving forward. Alright? Now, tomorrow. I said we'll have 10-minute segments to think about the topic for the next day. But I haven't even thought of anything yet. What could be the topic for tomorrow? Let me see. I'm switching it the wrong side. Okay. What could be the topic for tomorrow? Alright, we talked about school and we said I need to actually put this in my notes. I need to find a way to get notes for Twitch, like Twitch notes. Not like in my notebook. Notebook is for planning, right? But I mean the repository of knowledge that we're going to gain by doing introspection, by really deep diving into subjects. Some days I might not even have a topic. I might just sort of talk about sort of myself and what I'm doing. Those days are going to be a lot more, but right, what topic will we do tomorrow? All right, we covered how long we spend in school. We said if we spend too much. Sorry, we covered if we spend too much time in school. We say we spend a lot of flipping time in school, right? some article said that half our day was like interruptions, and then it's not ChatGPT, it was Gemini. Gemini told us that about 50% of people, college graduates, feel unprepared for work. So, next topic. Let's make it something fun. What can we say? The value of content creation. This to probably give you guys some insight into why I decided to start this anyway. The value of content creation. Or is it valuable? When I say content creation, I mean like social media content creation. Media. And like sort of having the ability to make and produce sort of video content on social media. What is the value of it? We're really gonna dissect the whole value of that, right? You know what I mean? Oh wow, Hype Train, Zach War. Oh, okay. I don't. Yeah, sir. Yeah, no, that is not for me. I didn't even know what that meant. That was just a notification from somebody else's stream. Okay. Right. So this is gonna be it for tomorrow. I actually forgot that my screen blocks like this whole section. Stop looking at that section. I'm a terrible streamer. I'm sorry, guys. Let me rub this out. Okay, I mean social media in general. What do you say? Social media in general. That's gonna be it for the next stream. Okay. So, to whoever watched, I saw like numbers go up and down. Thank you for being here and listening to me. I don't want to call it yapping, but thank you for coming here and listening to me dissect a topic. I want to get better at it in the future. So yeah, all of this is just gonna be based on intuition. No research is gonna be done, no planning before this. You're gonna see me pause a lot. You're gonna see me try to think about different things and just come up with random things just on the spot, on the fly. That's what I want to do. I want to just do what I do on a regular basis, just on the stream, and try to see where that will go. That's how I stream. I don't play video games. And it just hit 10 in Irish time. So thank you for watching. Peace. It's been foreign. Don't forget, foreign.